Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today, we have a pretty big beast here. This is a 1974 Pioneer PL-A45D. This is a fully automatic belt drive turntable. It has a 4-pole synchronous motor, nice plinth, suspended platter. Very nice turntable. It is very big. These are very large turntables, so you need a nice big shelf for them. As far as what it's in for today, this one has been sitting around for a while. Gentleman dropped it off, and it's going to require a full service. Now, I have already replaced the cartridge. I've put on a Audio-Technica AT3600, and we'll be setting that up later. But otherwise, I think the first thing we should do here is to remove the dust cover and have a look at how it's functioning. Okay, so like I mentioned, this is a fully automatic, and it can also be operated in manual mode. So here's our size selector here. And then this is manual mode. So we'll just put it on for 12-inch. And it's in the neutral position now. So to start, I believe all we do is push forward. That chug 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 you hear is a separate motor that takes care of all the automatic functions on this deck. Now it's totally silent now, but you'll hear it when the auto return kicks on. There we go. Seems to be working fine. Let's just check our 7-inch record size just to make sure it's moving correctly. Okay, and it is. I've got a needle protector on there, so it's not touching the platter. That sound you hear from the motor, there's really nothing you can do about it. I'm not a big fan of tables that use a separate motor to do all the automatic functions. Pioneer was pretty big on that. They had that on quite a few tables. I just prefer a standard auto return and auto start mechanism. This can get complicated. Those motors can die, and then you're kind of left with a manual turntable. Okay, so peek here. This is an aftermarket platter mat. It says Electrohome. And have a look at our belt. Our belt looks a little loose. It's not bad by any means. Speed cannot be adjusted on this turntable because, like I mentioned, it's an AC synchronous motor. Let's just have a quick peek. I don't know if you can put it in manual. No, you have to hit the start. Just get a rough idea how our speed is here. Speed's okay. Nothing wrong with that. That's good. 45. 45 is a smidge slow. 33 is okay. Here's your 45 adapter. We'll lock our tone arm in. Take off our counterweight. Remove our head shell. There's our brand new cartridge that I just installed. And we'll take off our platter. As you can see, the belt is not really sticking to the inner portion of the platter here, but it's not that bad that it would really require a new belt. I might boil this just to snug it up a little bit. And also, it saves the customer a little bit of money. Okay, unplugged. There. Remove this gross hair. Get this flipped over and opened up. Actually, do we need to flip this one over? I think it comes out. Yeah. I do want to look underneath though. Just to have a peek. Very heavy as well. Yeah, you can remove the base on these. Let me just quickly pull it off. It's just a piece of plywood on the bottom. It doesn't have to come out, I don't believe. I haven't worked on one of these in quite a long time, actually. There's a 12D as well. Huh. It's not glued in, is it? Oh, maybe the feet have to come out as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. For me, when I get a table like this, it's like, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this. I remember this. So yeah, I think we'll work on it from underneath. There's a grounding cable that goes into the bottom base here, and the power cord is attached as well. Now the base, I'm going to turn this over. It's a little gross, but the base has a metallic covering here. You can see all the oil here. This is the grounding post, and there's the AC post. And we're going to give this a cleaning because that's kind of gross. And it grounds the whole lower portion of the turntable for EM and RFI isolation, which is really nice. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Okay, here's our mechanism. You can see it's all wood, and it's so big it's barely fitting into the camera here. Okay, big motor. Here's your auto return mechanism. As you can see, there is a ton of stuff going on in here. Micro switches, and it's all 120 volt as well. And this controls all the automatic features, and that's why it gets noisy, because there is a large motor under here that you can service, but it requires removing this whole auto return mechanism. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a peek at it. What's this? These are our audio cables. Ew. Ew. That's seen nicer days. I'll just show you underneath here. They sure as hell don't build them like this anymore. I mean, this was pretty overbuilt even for the day that it was made, the year that it was made. Okay, muting switch here. We'll give that a cleaning. And here's our auto return cam, and this will spin. I think I can dislodge the arm here, and I can show you how that works. Now, I just want to be careful because, like I mentioned, it's all 120 volt AC running through this thing. Okay, so when you hit start, yeah, where is it? There it is, right there. So that turns on this, which comes over here and kicks that on. So hang on a sec here. Let's see. There you go. So that's how it does the auto start and auto return. Okay, so now it's in the start position. And that buzz you hear is the actual motor spinning. And then when we hit it again, it'll go back to the home position. And this is all well greased. And our motor stops over here. And like I mentioned, all 120 volt running through here. All these micro switches have 120 going through them. So you do not want to be messing with that. If it's working, the best thing to do is just to leave it alone. And we are going to unplug this. We're going to put our cover back on. And we're going to do exactly what I said. We are going to leave it alone. The PL-A45D, the automatic motor in that turntable, I have a video about that. That one needs service because the gears get locked up with old grease. This one does not have those same gears. Okay, so what we're going to do here first, I'm going to move this over. We're unplugged, just want to make sure. And we're going to do this motor. So it's your standard AC motor service. We got top and bottom bearings. You can lubricate the top bearing from the top of the turntable. So our goal here today is to get some oil into this lower bearing cap. And then we'll lubricate the top from just a standard service point on top. We'll inspect these rubber motor mounts, and they are in great shape. That's good to see. And just get these hairs out of here. As you can see here, oil. And what you do is you drop some oil in here, and there is a felt surround on the bearing, and that oils the motor. So we'll do that once we get the motor back in place. Right now, our goal is to get some oil into this lower bearing cap. And I'm just wondering if we can unscrew it without having to remove all the nuts and bolts. I'm going to give it a try and see what happens here. Probably not. No, of course not. So let me get appropriate nut driver here. 6 mil. Nope. 7 mil. Yeah. 7 mil, and it looks like a screw as well. That was a little loose. Okay, so we got 2 nuts. Lock washers. And no, that one's fine. I am going to mark this. Just get a little mark here and mark there. Like that. That's for the top. Here's our oil slot, which looks kind of dirty. I'm just going to clean that out. And you can see, hopefully you can see, there's kind of a felt material there. And there is a whole bunch of hair wrapped around the motor spindle. So I'm just going to remove that with a pick. Because all that hair wrapped around there can affect your speed. This motor feels really, really dry. I'm sure it hasn't seen a drop of oil in, well, 1974. Yeah, 50 years, right? Very dry. Okay. Now, will that fit? It will not. Let's see if we can get the screw off now. Bigger screwdriver. Coming or not? That's very odd. Seen that okay? Let me try and twist this nut off here. Lock washer. Huh. Screw does not want to come out. Come on. There we go. I don't think it's threaded through the entire thing. That's very strange if it is. Feels like it's threaded on this side of the bearing cap. Different. Great. This one's not. Oh, that was really strange. Man, this is dry. Wow. Okay. All right, we're just going to quick wipe down here. Get some oil into this lower bearing cap here. Yeah, see, look at this. This one, it's like they're it's very odd. They're threaded here. Never see that. Usually they just go all the way through so you can put the nut on. Anyway, let's get some oil. So I'm just using some 3-in-1. The blue bottle for electric motors. Okay, it's a 20 weight electric motor oil. It's non-detergent. And we're going to fill this. Just put a few drops in there. I'm going to go around the outside where that felt pad is. Okay. And we'll just put that back on. We have to thread that all the way in again. Here's an idea. Going in or what? I mean, it won't go in if you're not in the right spot. Okay. Oh yeah, I lost a lock washer. Hang on a second. Where'd you go? There you are. And then we're just going to have to nuts back on. And then just tighten them. Kind of a hard motor to work on as far as this is concerned. Not a lot of space to get. You can't get a nut driver in there. You can barely get your needle nose in here. There. Very nice. Okay. I'm just going to put the mounting plate back on. It goes here. Just like that. Here's our oil spout. It says oil here, but this is your actual oil spout. Like that's the little ramp, if you look here, that takes it down. So this marking is incorrect. This is the oil hole. Putting it here will only make a mess. That's kind of dumb. So what I'll do, so the gentleman knows in the future, I'll put a little arrow here. And then we can put our nuts back on. And I'll put the top bearing oil when we get the turntable back up on its feet. Okay. Go back in there. Like that. Like I said, the mounts are in great shape. So you don't have to worry about the motor sagging. Right. Next, let's do our center bearing, spindle bearing. Put away our electric motor oil. And we'll center that. We're working right here. There's a screw that holds the spindle in. Can be tough to remove sometimes depending on the angle of your screwdriver. You do not want to strip this. Set that aside. And we're going to flip our table back over now. We're not going to install the base at this point. Arm just moved. I found a nut, and I'm not sure where that goes. I put everything back here. Didn't remove anything else, right? Okay. Zoom in a little bit more. It should come right out. Ew. Wow. That's really bad. There's a little ball bearing in there. Whether or not it comes out, it's probably seized in with this whatever lubricant's left in here. It's kind of like a oil grease mix. Yeah, this is nasty. Up here, it's a real mess. It's all dried. Yeah, this bearing's in rough shape. Excuse my head. I don't like when I see that. Okay, well let's attempt to clean that spindle with some alcohol first. I'm concerned about this here. It's very caked on and dried. Yeah, it's not coming off. Huh. It's almost like a wax at this point. The lubrication has dried up so much. Yeah, I'm going to go to a little bit more of an extreme measure here. I'm going to apply some WD-40 and let that penetrate. And I'm going to hit it with a little brush just to get this crap off. So just bear with me. I shall be right back. Well, that was one of the worst spindles I've seen ever. I ended up using a degreaser on it just because it was so bad. There is a lot of scoring here where that grease hardened up and dried up. So it's scored all the way from here, the top, to about, I don't know, a quarter of the way on this top part here. The bottom part's okay. I don't see any scoring there. But this is scored. And that's what happens when you don't change your oil. It's the same thing as your car. If you don't change the oil in your car, your engine's going to seize up. If you don't change the oil on your center spindle, especially on a belt drive turntable, that's what's going to happen. So hopefully that bearing's not too noisy because it doesn't look pretty. Anyway, let's see what's waiting for us in here. Luckily there's not a lot, but it feels very waxy as well. So you guys know what I do here. I use IPA and I clean the bearing out and I dry it. I'm going to do that off camera because I have a feeling this is going to take quite a while to get this completely clean. And I want the sides totally smooth and removed of any dry lubricants, because I'm thinking if it was caked up at the top of the spindle here, then the top quarter of this bearing well is going to have that same caked on oil or grease or whatever it was. So I really have to scrub that well. So I'm going to do that off camera and I shall be right back. This is pass number 1. I usually use 70% on that. I'm using 99% this time. I usually use this stuff for tape deck heads. Look at that. This is absolutely gross. I think it's going to take probably 5 passes of this just to get the crap off the sides of this bearing. Shall return. So the cleaning's not going well. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to remove the bearing from the turntable altogether. It's a 14 millimeter nut. Just going to take it right out. I can grab it from underneath. There we go. And I'm going to soak the whole bloody thing in some kind of solvent. Here's the bearing. It's in rough shape. Probably the worst one I've ever seen. Oh, there goes the ball bearing. Now it decides to come out. I got it. So we'll put the ball bearing aside, somewhere safe. And I'm going to try a couple things here. I'm going to pour some 99% alcohol in there. Let it soak for a little while. And then come back, brush it out. Probably hit some degreaser and just like wash it with soap and water. Get one of those pipe cleaning brushes and just go in there and clean it. And just get the sides, scrubbed a little bit. This is really bad. And then hopefully this will go back together. We'll oil it, throw it back in. And hopefully it's not noisy. That's the big thing when a bearing's been abused like this. They can get noisy. So, all right, I'll be back when that's done. Okay, so this thing got a nice soak. And then I hit it with some degreaser. It's hard to see. I'll just move it around a little bit. Maybe you can see the inside spotless now. So that is super, super clean. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, we'll just service it outside of the plant here. And we're going to put in some Masters lubricating oiler. This is for bearings. Had a few Americans ask me, what can you substitute? Well, you can substitute the same oil I used for the motor. The electric motor oil will work fine. So you want a few drops in there. And then I like to put a couple drops on the spindle itself. You don't want it to go in dry. Grab your ball bearing, drop it in, and then insert your spindle. It's probably going to push back a little bit. This is a fairly thick oil. There is a little pressure relief valve here. The air bubbles will start bubbling out. You should be able to get that down by just keeping it compressed. If you find that it doesn't want to go in, what you can do, you can take a little bit of oil out if you've overfilled it, like I always do. Oh, there's a couple air bubbles that went. Or you can put it back in, put the platter on it, and just let gravity do its job, and it will drop it down, and you should be in the right position. I've overfilled it a little bit here, but I find when that little hole is there, it will go down. So just let me continue on with this, and then we'll get it remounted. Okay, we're all seated. We put our screw back in the side here. Doesn't have to be super tight. It's snug. And then you want to reach underneath, pop the spindle, put your washer on, put your nut on, and because the spindle is here, I don't have a deep socket with me, so I know people love when I use needle nose, but just a little crank. You don't have to go nuts. Get it tight, and that's it. And now, oh my God, that is so much better. Holy moly. That was so bad. So this one wins the award. Worst bearing ever. Okay, I said we were going to oil our motor. I'm going to do that now. We're going to put a couple drops. You can just barely see the arrow, but there's the hole there. And just want to put a couple drops into that. And that will work its way in. Lubricate that bearing. Very nice. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go and boil that belt. Then we'll come back, we'll clean this motor pulley here. And by the way, the motor feels a million times better too since we've oiled it. So I'm going to do that next, and I'll be right back. Okay, here's our boiled belt, fresh out of the microwave. We are now going to clean our belt path. It's very important that the belt path be spotless. You want maximum adhesion between the belt, the platter, and the motor spindle. To do that, we're going to clean all three with some IPA. Best way to clean the motor spindle is to get a Q-tip, some alcohol, turn the motor on so that it's spinning. And now, all you need to do is rest your Q-tip right against the pulley here. And we're just going to clean all that gook off. This one's not too bad. Some of the fibers come off the Q-tip. Just remember to get those cleaned off when you're done. And that's all nice and clean now. That one wasn't too bad. All right, so the belt is actually already clean because I cleaned it with soap and water upstairs before I boiled it. It's definitely better on one side than the other. So this side is kind of shiny and it has a little bit of wear. This side's never been used. So we're going to make sure that this is facing the inside of the inner platter. Let's put that aside like that, because that's what we're going to do next. We're going to clean that inner platter. The belt rides around this inner circle here. So let's get you straightened out here. A little bit of IPA again. And you just want to clean right here. And that wasn't too bad either. But this table is just the that center spindle that was a real disaster. And the motor was very, very dry as well. Okay, so we're going to make sure that the good side is riding on the inside. Let's see how our boiling went. Yeah, it definitely constricted the belt a little bit. As you can see now, it's hanging on to the platter. So that's exactly what we want. And we can put that back into position now. Let's wrap that around our motor, which is still spinning. And there you go. Let's just make sure our speed hasn't changed at all. 33 was right on the money. 45. 45 has improved. 45 was a bit slow last time. It's right on the money as well. So the servicing helped. Why it would help one speed and not the other, I'm not sure. But we're right on the money on both, which is excellent for a synchronous motor. Very happy with this. Okay, we're going to turn off everything. I am going to put the base back on, get everything back into position, and we will set up the arm and do a sound test. Okay, setting up this tone arm is a little bit different because this is a fully automatic and the arm does not drop until it's actually engaged. So what you want to do is you put it in manual mode, hit the start cut, let it cycle. Okay, when the motor stops, unplug it. And now your arm will be free to drop on the record. Okay, and what we're trying to do is we're just trying to get this balanced up to where it's floating above the record, perfectly parallel, which is right there. And you just want to return that back and set your weight to 0. And then we're going to adjust this particular cartridge for 2 grams here. And we can plug it back in, and we'll set our anti-skate at number 2 as well. I've given the turntable a general cleaning as well. Now that I'm retired, I've got more time to do that. And to charge a little bit more money as well, especially on something as dirty as this. Okay, you ready? 12-inch. Start. Start position looks good. Muting works, which is nice. That is supposed to sound like that, just so you know. Okay, I'm just going to, the last track on this song gets tagged every time, so I got to get it right over the, maybe I'll do it on the other side. Let's try this again here. It's really tough on some of these turntables. The auto return trip is very sensitive. Cartridge sounds fantastic. What a bargain that thing is. Perfect. There you go. One serviced PL-45, PL-A45D. This is a little bit, this could use a little bit more push. There might be a little bit of a sponge or foam pad that is there. Now it's deteriorated. I might open it up and have a peek again. But for this video, that is complete. So we have completely serviced this thing. Motor, bearing, new cartridge, set up the arm, clean it, everything. The bearing was very bad on this. So just remember to service your bearings. If your turntable is relatively new or you've kept up in the maintenance on it, I would suggest changing out the oil every couple years. It doesn't hurt. It's like literally 2 or 3 drops of oil. Just clean it out, put fresh oil in there. It will keep your records quieter. It'll keep the turntable running quieter. It's very important. You cannot let it get to the point that this one was, where the oil or grease had hardened at the top of the bearing and the scoring began. And that could have affected this turntable I didn't really notice any kind of scraping or anything while the record was playing, but that doesn't mean that it's not permanently damaged. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the Pioneer. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.